Thank you for the.
Oh, I'm the type of guy who'll never settle down, Phil. Where pretty girls are, well, you know that I'm around. Kiss 'em and I hug 'em, 'cause to me they're all the same. Hug 'em and I squeeze 'em. They don't even know my name. They call 'em Philly Kid.
The Wanderer.
Phil, what's up, baby? Glad you could be here today. By the way, as everybody starts to light up and log in before we hit the open to the show.
Yeah, I'm going to share it up myself.
So Suki, I guess her husband, today's her anniversary. So she says,
okay.
I think she's just trying to play hooky. She says it's her anniversary. She texted me last night, said her husband surprised her with, I guess, a little trip for the next 2 days.
Whoa.
So I had to call her husband and say, dude, you don't surprise her with a trip when we're doing shows. You know that. So anyway, so Suki's off the next 2 days. You'll be here. We got an amazing show today. Brandon Davis coming up a little later on, one of the hottest growing superstars in the country music scene. Jim Colucci's here. He's got an amazing new book coming out, all about All in the Family. That he basically, Norman Lear, basically the show's creator, kind of wrote it with him, told him the stories. And Jim is an amazing TV writer and author, so he put that in book form. That's coming out, I think, in October.
Nice.
We'll talk to Jim in a sec, or it might be out already, but we'll talk to Jim. And you know that stuff, Philly Kid, right up our alley.
Yeah.
Are you ready to start the show? You
shared it up, Scotty.
Did you share it up on your page, Philly Kid?
I'm shared up.
You all good to go? All right, here we go, baby. We're going to start the show. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll get it all going on a brand new week of the Suki and Scott Show.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, the Seven of Hearts. Exactly.
What she said.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu, is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
Ah, yes, Philly Kid. Show number 239, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, man, it's zooming on up there. And
listen, big weekend we just had. NFL is back. VMA Awards sucked as usual. Getting too old for that stuff. Did you watch any of that, Philly Kid, the VMA Awards at all?
No, I didn't.
MTV Video Music. You're way too old for that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm really
Here's
old.
the thing. It was the 40th anniversary of the VMAs, right? So I would have thought the reason why I watched it, because I thought maybe they'd throw in some nostalgic acts, a little Bon Jovi. I know they gave who was it? They gave the Legend Award. I forget what group it was. One of those guys. Not Chili Peppers, but somebody. I don't even remember. But the show is just, it's so bad right now with all the crap music they have out there. They gave us Madonna for a second, but they just had her come out real quick. But I got to tell you, man, it's a far cry from what it used to be when they used to have all the great acts on the show.
Yeah, man. And, I've told you before, I don't really watch very much TV just because of the state of the world and how it is. But hey, if you were wanting some Bon Jovi, how about some Shot Through the Heart? And you're to blame, honey,
Darling.
You give love a bad name.
Philly, I got to tell you, one other thing that's just blowing up the internet are these mugs right here. The Suki and Scott Show coffee mugs, where we are, this is for our disabled vets, heroforlife.us, You use our promo code USA1 to get 20% off. But Phil, I got to tell you, so our audience is starting to send in shots of that. Look, Anna Hoover, she ordered a truckload of mugs. I didn't know somebody could drink that much coffee in one day. But Anna Hoover sent in this picture she got 2 of you, 2 of us, and the mugs are flying off the shelves like crazy, Philly Kid, which is great.
Yeah, because some people have book clubs. She may be having a Phil and Suki and Scott mug club going on.
So yeah, it's the folks at heroforlife.us. They have great apparel. The money goes toward disabled vets, and it's just it's a great cause. I'm so glad we're involved with those guys and we can help out. And our mugs will be coming soon because if we don't hold up the mugs, who will, right?
Exactly.
But
hey,
no, go ahead.
No, let me get quick shout outs to some of our viewers: Yvonne Burns, Pam Apolloni, Roy Wright, Lisa Jewell, Barb Fawcett, Anna Hoover, we just spoke about, Jeannie Clay, Philippine Richardson, the regulars, they're here, baby.
Elisa Jewell, or Eliza Jewell, she's literally in the hospital, Phil, watching us as we speak. Eliza, hope you're doing okay.
Prayers, Eliza.
Yeah, and the other thing, Phil, the other thing that lit up social media this week before we bring in Jim Colucci was that duet that we sang, Sweet Caroline, was unbelievable, Phil.
Why wouldn't it?
I think we're up to 1 million views, 2 million people reached. It just went around the world in about 15 minutes. It was unbelievable.
Hey, Scott, it's funny that you say duet because actually it's a quartet.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It is a quartet. 2 of you, 2 of me. It really, it really worked out beautifully. And of course, I'll bring that in later on the show.
Yeah.
But right now, I want to bring on our first guest, Jim Colucci. He's got this book out called All in the Family, the show that changed television, by Norman Lear, the cast, the crew, as told to Jim Colucci, with a forward by Jimmy Kimmel. Because if you remember, Kimmel had those live shows that they did with All in the Family and the Jeffersons and Good Times. And, all that stuff is right up our alley. So, Phil, listen, I didn't know if we could, usually we play some video or some music to bring in our guests. I didn't know if we could play the theme song from All in the Family. So why don't you and I just do it, and then we'll bring Jim in on the other side.
Okay, sounds good. I'll start it off.
Go ahead, Philly Kid.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played
songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like me, we had it made.
Those were the days.
Didn't need no welfare state.
Everybody pulled his weight.
Gee, our old LaSalle rang great.
You're really enunciating, huh?
Yeah.
Those were the days. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Hey, there's actually a story behind that, really enunciating that. And I think G, you probably know that story.
Yes. Oh, you guys are a tough act to follow. I love it. Yes. Bill, you're so right. I remember my mom telling me when I used to watch the show with her when I was a little kid. And I remember her saying when that line would come on, she said they had to re-record the song because so many people couldn't tell what they were singing. Right. And Norman Lear, with whom I wrote the book, verified that for me. He said, and he showed me, and there are some letters in the book, some postcards from fans that said, I love the show, but what are they singing in that line? People were losing their minds. I guess no one remembered what a LaSalle was, even by the 70s.
Yeah, right. I used to think they used GRO, LaSalle, red, gray, right? I'm like, what are they talking about?
It sounds like that when you first hear it until you hear the enunciation when they re-recorded it. Sure.
Oh, God. Jim, welcome into the show, my friend. Living out on the West Coast now by way of New Jersey, of course. All great people start off in New Jersey, I believe.
That's what I always say, yes.
Right? They move there, the great state of New Jersey. But listen, man, you have done, so many amazing books, and I know you're so tuned in, no pun intended, to the TV world and our nostalgic world of 70s and 80s television. We're all right around the same age, grew up on, the great shows of the 70s and 80s. First of all, so you wrote this book. It's actually Norman Lear, the show's creator, right? The cast, the crew, these guys are telling you stories about this book, about the show. How did you hook up with Norman Lear to get this thing written?
It was the opportunity of a lifetime. I've written books about Will and Grace, the Golden Girls. In fact, today is the 36th anniversary of the debut of the Golden Girls. So I wore my Golden Girls shirt.
Yes, indeed. Look at you.
Yeah, that's Golden Girls forever. So I had made a name in this space, I guess, and as somebody who's obsessed with classic TV to his own detriment, probably. And I'm actually in the middle of working on another book about the Love Boat. But I was in Love Boat mode when an editor contacted me and said, "Would you like to work with Norman Lear on a book about All in the Family?" And when that happens, you're just like, "Yep, sure." Yeah, I wasn't doing anything else. Yeah, sure. So I mean, when they say, "Would you like to sit with Norman Lear and write a book?" Yes, the answer is always yes. So I put the other book on the back burner for a year while Norman and I talked, and he told me all his stories about all his favorite episodes of the show. And even more exciting than sitting with Norman and hearing the stories firsthand is when Norman and his staff say, "We've got boxes in storage of letters and memos and memorabilia that we literally have not opened in almost 50 years. Should we pull those out of the warehouse and you can come over to Norman's house and just dig through them?"
Oh,
and it's
my
like,
God.
You want me to come to Norman's house and snoop through 50 years of memos? Yes, I'll do it, even though it was during COVID. So there are photos and letters and memos and all kinds of scenes, blueprints and drawings of wardrobe and all kinds of documents that have literally been in a box for nearly 50 years, not seen by anyone, including Norman, until this book. It's a dream. It's like somebody said, "Do you want to just go to Norman Lear's house and snoop and you'll get paid?" Yes, please. Yes.
That's amazing. Oh my God, that's so funny, man. That's like a treasure trove for a guy like you.
It is
so great.
Yeah,
so fun.
Jim, I got to tell you, when I was a kid, like millions of Americans, I mean, that was a family show that kind of brought the family together to watch that show. And, a lot of the episodes were very groundbreaking. And I can remember watching these shows, and there would be certain scenes, and mom and dad would start discussions about, I mean, even then, such things as, how you treat people or race or just, all kinds of things. And it opened a dialogue, I think, again, with the groundbreaking themes that they had sometimes.
They did. And some things that we're still talking about years later. What I found so interesting about sitting down with Norman, particularly in this era that we're in, is that I watched the show a little bit in first run I'm 51. So I was around for and conscious for the end of its run. So I watched it a little bit. And then, of course, I watched it in reruns. And I watched it with my parents. And I heard how they felt about the show and how they felt about issues. So it brought up issues. But I remember then being a little bit cocky in the later years, say maybe 2000, 2010, where I would watch episodes of All in the Family and think, "Oh, that seems old-fashioned. We're past that now." Especially when there'd be issues of race. I think, "Oh, we're doing so much better than that now." And then in recent years, we've backslid so badly on some things that you watch All in the Family, and it seems like it could have been made this week. I remember when Jimmy Kimmel and Norman did those 2 live recreations of All in the Family. They felt like they were of the moment, and those scripts, they didn't change a word. So you're right. You're so right. The things they talked about back in the 70s when they were making these shows are still things we talk about today. We talk about rape and sexual harassment and racial issues and discrimination. And they're so important to bring up. And what was also so interesting about the time that All in the Family was on and talking about them is that we think now that our world is polarized. And I think if you're a young person, you think this must be some recent horrible development. And I do think it is worse now. We're polarized worse now, left versus right, than we were maybe a few years ago. But polarization always existed. And around the time of the Vietnam War, there were certainly pro-war and there was anti-war and there was left and there was right. And what All in the Family managed to do is unite both sides of those issues in front of the same television show. And we don't have anything that does that anymore. The left watches its newscasts. The right watches its newscasts. We watch shows that already cater to our points of view. And All in the Family showed both points of view on issues. Archie would be on one side and Mike on the other, typically. Now, what I think was so clever of Norman is that Norman, being a very progressive person, wanted us to root, not necessarily for Mike, because he gave Mike his foibles and Mike wasn't always right, but he definitely wanted us to see the folly in Archie's point of view. And yet there were people who watched the show even back then and rooted for Archie. And so Norman got to have it both ways. He got to kind of make his social points about these issues and yet get both left and right in front of the TV to watch it. It's such a trick that no one else has been able to pull off.
Right. I mean, was there a better episode than when Sammy Davis Jr. Kisses Archie on the cheek, right? Because Archie's like, and back of the day said bigot, right, instead of racist, but he was, I mean, you knew, and he had the Jeffersons next door, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but when Sammy kissed him on the cheek, man, his face was like he couldn't believe
episode,
it. Yeah,
episode which we cover extensively in the book, is so interesting because I didn't know this. Again, something Norman told me in the book, that Sammy Davis begged him to be on the show. All in the Family didn't do what a lot of sitcoms today do, which is they do all this stunt casting with big movie stars to get ratings. They really wanted to keep the show realistic, and they didn't think that giant movie stars would always be stopping by this little house in Queens. But Sammy, as Norman says, Sammy practically stalked him to be on the show because he thought it was so important and so funny. And as a black man in the early 70s, to see issues of race being discussed, I'm sure Sammy was like, oh, that finally somebody's being honest about this and showing black characters who have dignity and give it right back to Archie as well as Archie can dish it out. And so Sammy really wanted to be on the show. And so not only did it work so successfully, but that moment where Sammy kisses Archie on the cheek was improvised. It was not in the script. It was something that Sammy and the director and Carol O'Connor worked out while they were rehearsing, and they called Norman and the writers down and said, let's show you this. And of course they loved it. So that was really something that they came up with in the spirit of that episode.
That is so funny, man.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's good TV, man. And Mike was Meathead was one of a lot of people's favorite character. And do you know how that came about, him getting that nickname Meathead, or who thought that up, or because it really worked?
That was something from Norman's life. Norman had seen this show. Norman and his producing partner, Bud Yorkin, had seen this show Till Death Do Us Part in England. And that's what All in the Family was adapted from. And it was the same kind of idea about a conservative father and a liberal son-in-law. But when Norman heard about it, he thought, why didn't I think of that? That is so my life. My father was such an old-fashioned conservative, and I was always this liberal, and we butted heads all the time. And so when Norman adapted it, he did put in so much of his own personal life. There are lines in the pilot of All in the Family that come straight from Norman's life, bigoted things that his father said. And the word meathead was something that his father called him when his father thought he was just not showing any common sense.
Yeah. I mean, my God, I just imagine, in today's day and age, if you had a husband on a show calling his wife dingbat, right? He called her dingbat, he always said stifle. Come on, eat it, stifle.
Yeah.
But it
which
just,
came right from Norman's father too.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
Stifle.
My God.
Yeah.
And I mean, God, you like you said, the race relations, the religion, feminism, gun control, war. He and Mike butted heads over everything. And all of that stuff is still like, if you threw the show on right now, it would work. Although people wouldn't want it on because of all of the stuff they say, but the content would work.
Exactly. The content would speak to us. And yet we unfortunately are in a place, and I not completely, unfortunately, because I also like the idea that we're sensitive to each other's feelings. So I'm not completely saying that it's a bad thing, but we are at a place where there are things that you can't talk about on TV anymore. And that can be to our detriment because we need to talk about some of those things.
Yeah, no, it kind of stinks, but just like the golden age of television, man, it was great. So I just remember sitting there with my dad watching that stuff. I didn't really understand it at the time, but as you get older, you're like, wow, boy, I can't believe they had this racist neighbor, Archie Bunker, grumpy, always right, just the working man, and
and the things he would say to people's faces, sometimes meaning it, and sometimes not even knowing how horrible he was being.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, just forget it. It was wild, great.
So after that show, Jim, you saw some of the lead players, you know, their careers went stellar, and you know maybe others not so much. And like Carol O'Connor, you know, he had other shows afterwards, and you know some of the other ones. Maybe Sally Struthers not quite as big. And you talk any about that in the book, or?
Well, I certainly talked with those actors. I didn't speak with obviously Carol and Jean because they've passed away, but I talked with
Right.
Rob and Sally. And, you know, so I certainly talked about their lives after. And they've all, I mean, Rob Reiner was already working on The Princess Bride when he was on All in the Family. He already had the rights. He already had a vision for it. So he was studying the directors and seeing what they did. He was ready to direct and produce, you know, right out of the gate. And so his career has been, of course, incredible. Sally has done a lot of theater, Hannah has done other series. So she's had a great career too. What's amazing about all of them is that so many actors find themselves typecast in the one role and really find it hard to break out. And, you know, think of some of the Gilligan's Island people. They really had a hard time convincing the world that they could do other things. And they eventually did, but it was a struggle. But, you know, Carol O'Connor was such an amazing actor, and so not Archie Bunker. He didn't speak like that. He didn't have that accent. He had a completely different point of view on the world. And so Carol could go right into In the Heat of the Night, or he could go into another a Broadway play and just be a chameleon. And Jean Stapleton, same thing. I mean, she was a brilliant woman, not Edith. So they escaped the stereotyping, which is such a good thing because they had so much more to offer.
Yeah, that's, you know, you mentioned you know, when she would play Edith, you know, as a kid, that's all I knew about her. And then later when I saw her doing interviews, and I'm like, who is that person? You know, so
because her voice is different. She didn't have a shrill, high-pitched voice that was put on. You know, it was such a characterization and such a brilliant choice, and it allowed her to be herself off screen and do other stuff.
So fun. Now, was she? Was she and Maureen Stapleton related? I don't remember. Were they related at all, or
no?
They weren't, right? Okay.
No.
I always, for some reason, I always thought they were sisters or cousins. But I remember hearing they weren't.
Stapleton, I think, was a family name for Jean from far back, but her birth name was Murray, and she was married. Her married name was Punch. So that was a stage name for her.
All right. Listen, Jim, you know, we talk about all these shows with us growing up, right? Taxi, Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, Three's Company, which, by the way, that was that Tuesday night from 8 to 9:30, which was it was Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, and then Too Close for Comfort.
Too Close for Comfort.
Rounded it out. I used to just lay on my bed like this all night. But when you think of all the characters, and I saw you I think had this on your page from the CNN History of Sitcoms. Who is your favorite sitcom character of all time? Is it Archie Bunker? Do you have a different favorite? Who is it?
Oh, wow. I mean, I normally have a hard time picking a favorite character just in a show. Never mind of all time. Of all time, it's got to be Lucy Ricardo because she did everything. I mean, she was hilarious. Nice. She was scheming. She was innocent. I mean, and will ever be funnier or more talented than Lucille Ball. So it's got to be Lucy.
That's great. Phil, what about you? You have a favorite growing up? Who would you say was your top of mind? Who comes to mind as your favorite sitcom character?
Oh, I'm the same way as Jim. I mean, there's so many, but Larry Hagman in I Dream of Jeannie. I mean, his slapstick and his facial expressions, and that guy was a genius, man. I loved him.
That's so funny, man. It's great. And listen,
what about Jim, you, Scott? Scott, what about you?
Listen, I always went for the women of these shows. So you know, you could throw Jeannie, and you could put Lori Partridge, and you could take Marianne and Ginger and put them all in the same spot for me, because I always just went for the pretty women as a kid.
I did too. I've always liked the pretty girl characters. I mean, it makes sense. But what's so interesting is, and this is a sidebar, so I won't go too far into it. When female comics often complain that they hear male comics say women aren't funny. Right. I never understood where that came from, because I'm not talking now about the stand-up world. If you look at just sitcoms, which is what most of the people in my age were raised on, we weren't raised on stand-up. We weren't going to clubs when we were 7. We were in home in front of the TV. And when you look at sitcoms, the women were always the funnier characters. From Lucy on, the women were always given zany things to do, and the men ought to be the straight man. So I don't understand where that ever came from.
Yeah, and I would put like in a top 3. I'd have to go. George Costanza would have to be in there.
Oh yeah,
right. Costanza, and probably if you go back to the old days. I mean, J.J. Walker on Good Times. I mean, how do you even pick, right? It's just it's one of those questions. How do you pick?
It's too hard. It's too hard. I mean, I have secretly a favorite Golden Girl, secretly a favorite friend, but then again, they change. If I see an episode, I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot how good he or she was. And then I change. So I can't even come up with a consistent answer.
Well, listen, I want to, you mentioned the Golden Girls. It's what anniversary is it right now?
Today is the 36th anniversary of the debut of the Golden Girls, September 14th, 1985.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
And I believe this book that you wrote, Golden Girls Forever, this was, wasn't this a New York Times bestseller?
It was indeed. Yes, that's the power of the Golden Girls. What's so amazing, so few shows have ever done this. Lucy and the Golden Girls, really, and I think maybe Friends and Seinfeld will prove to be capable of this too, that these shows have recruited fans who weren't even alive when the show was first on, which means that the reruns are just drawing people in on their own, out of context, and creating devoted fans. And that's hard to do because some shows age and they don't play well 20 years later. But the Golden Girls, the fan base, if anything, is growing, not shrinking. And that's so hard to do.
Yeah. And you look at you with Betty White here. She just keeps on going.
She and Norman, 99. I've managed to work with the two most prominent 99-year-olds on the planet.
Speaking of which, Philly, you're gonna like this. You and I think it was your husband and somebody else. You had kind of a spoof video called Betty White Lines.
Yes.
That you guys did, which I just happened to find on YouTube today.
Oh, good.
So here's a little bit of that right here. Take a look.
Betty, she is a Betty, Betty. Betty, she is a Betty, Betty. Betty White is full of cocaine.
Can you believe that backstabbing slut? Dorothy said you'd like something crotchless.
We want you to unwind.
Did you ever want to belt somebody?
It's a book phenomenon. Betty, Sue and Dennis Rose and Betty White.
I'm such a whore, I can't say no. Sometimes life just isn't fair, kiddo.
President was hard and grew up in a land TVs until the starting. Before Lucy, things so juicy. Like with Elizabeth, something juicy. National treasure, doing up the measure. Rapping out Betty is our pleasure. 88 years like piano has keys. 6 decades of funny. Take a look at these. Betty!
I thought I heard Negro.
Why? Betty!
Seems like an Easter egg.
Why? Betty!
I mean the freaking decoration.
Why? Betty! Why?
You really are a douchebag.
It goes on for about another minute, but I figured I'd cut it at "You really are a douchebag." She's great.
Can you believe that backstabbing slut?
Yeah, right.
So many. There were so many lines to choose from in making that video. We had a hard time picking them, but isn't that amazing? We made that when she was 88 as a tribute, and then that was the year that her career exploded in yet another wave of activity, and here she is, 99. So the woman's amazing.
Yeah. Just a couple shots here, you guys, with Betty White and Regis, and also Barbara Feld and Agent 99.
Oh my God, one of my earliest crushes. I so love her.
Yes, boy, she was amazing. And then Lisa Kudrow here, and just great stuff, man. Listen. Not only do you have the Golden Girls book, but you also mentioned the Will and Grace book. Where is it? I got it right here. It's Fabulously Uncensored, Will and Grace. And that was another one of those shows, man, where I remember it was kind of like my wife and I had just moved into our townhouse a long time ago. And it was one of those back when it was appointment television, Will and Grace was one of those Thursday night. I think it was Thursday nights, right, on NBC.
Yes.
Where,
After a while, it started on Monday, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those shows where like no DVRing. You had to be home to see Will and Grace because it was so damn funny.
Isn't it amazing how things have changed in just a few decades, for the better and for the worse? I like that we have more choices, but I also liked when we were all watching the same thing and it was appointment television and we could talk about it the next day. We don't really have that anymore. That the experience of writing that book was really fun because that was a show that was in production. So whereas Golden Girls and Love Boat and All in the Family have been things I have to go back in time for, Will and Grace, I got to have, it was fantasy camp. It was like, hey, want to come hang out for 3 weeks and watch us make this show? Okay. So it was great.
Speaking of Love Boat, we had we had Ted Lange on recently, a couple months ago. He was in a new movie with Snoop Dogg. I think it was a blood pageant or something, just some crazy horror movie. That Ted was in. And
Ted is amazing.
He told us some great Love Boat stories. I mean, really, just some great stuff with different. I mean, talk about having guest stars on the show, right?
Oh my God.
I mean, I was pulling out pictures of him with Reggie Jackson and all these people that showed up on the boat. Well, listen, Jim, before you go, I thought I'd put you and Phil to a little test of a little sitcom trivia knowledge.
Okay.
Something tells me you're going to do very, very well on this. Phil, I'm never sure. Phil can go either way. It depends. But here, I'm going to go. This first one's for Jim. You're both playing for a brand new Cadillac convertible.
Oh, nice.
So whoever wins this game will win the Cadillac. Jim,
Wow.
this first one's for you. All in the Family was based off of what British program?
Till Death Do Us Part.
Nicely done, sir. I was going to give you multiple choice. I didn't think you would need it. Phil, this one's for you.
Okay, give me all the hints you can.
This one's for you. You'll get this one. Come On, Get Happy is the theme song for which sitcom about a musical family?
Come on, get happy. The Partridge Family.
Nicely done, my friend. All right, Jim, I expect you to rattle these off in about 10 seconds. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
7 shows that were spun off from All in the Family. Name all 7.
Okay. Maude, The
1,
Jeffersons.
2.
Should we count spinoffs of Maude and The Jeffersons too? Is
Absolutely.
that? I guess we do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So Maude, The Jeffersons, Good Times.
Yep.
Checking In, which was the Florence show after
Nicely done, my friend.
Wait. Okay. 704 Hauser.
Yes, and you left off the 2 easy ones.
Well, I said Maude and The Jeffersons. Those are the easiest ones. I'm probably Gloria.
Gloria and
Archie Bunker's Place.
Nicely done, my friend.
Nice.
I didn't even remember 704 Hauser when I looked that up.
It unfortunately it didn't last long.
It didn't last very long.
The idea was a black family moved into that house in Queens and what it would be like to have a new generation where things were reversed. It's an interesting idea. It just didn't last long.
Didn't last. All right. Philly Kid, what was the group of kids called in Gabe Cotter's classroom?
Oh, the Sweat Hogs.
Nicely done, Phil.
Oh.
Boy, remember the first time you saw a Horseshack do that? It was like, oh my God, this show is insane. The iconic Archie Bunker role, Jim, was almost played by whom?
Well, the answer that you're probably looking for is Mickey Rooney, but there were, it wasn't set for Carol O'Connor until that famous meeting with him and Norman. So there were probably other people in the mix too.
I love it. I love it. Phil, which one of these was not one of Archie's catchphrases? Dingbat, stifle, knuckle sandwich, meathead.
I don't recognize knuckle sandwich.
You would be correct, sir.
Sweet.
Jim, Major Nelson was Jeannie's master in I Dream of Jeannie. What was Major Nelson's best friend's name?
Roger Healy.
Nicely done, sir.
Good job.
Done. Phil, what is the skipper's actual name on Gilligan's Island? The skipper's actual name on Gilligan's Island. Jim, you know this, right? All right. Phil, I'm going to give you multiple choice.
Okay.
Is it Harold Klinger, Ike Mellon, or Jonas Crumby?
I think it's the Jonas Crumbie.
Jonas Crumbie is the right answer.
Except for it's Grumby with a G.
Oh, Grumby. I'm sorry. I couldn't even read my own writing. It is Grumby. On the sitcom, Jim, Laverne and Shirley, what were the girls' last names?
Sweeney. Feeney and Theo.
And what?
Shirley Feeney and Laverne DeFazio.
Nicely done, my friend. And Phil, here's the bonus for you from Laverne and Shirley. What song did the big Ragu, Carmine Ragusa, usually sing when he walked into a room?
I would go from rags to riches.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Jim, listen, absolute pleasure, man. The book is called All in the Family, the show that changed television, by Norman Lear. The cast and crew has told to this man right here. You got a forward from Jimmy Kimmel. And the Love Boat book. When's that happening?
That's going to take a while. Tracking down all those guest stars, which is the joy of my life right now, is taking a long time. So give me a year or so.
All right. Well, listen, if you get Reggie Jackson, it'll be a miracle.
I am trying, believe me.
Hey, listen, before you go, on the Golden Girls note, I just want to say from the bottom of Scott and I's heart, thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. Thank you for being a friend. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, guys. Good rendition.
Jim, thank you, buddy. Well, so listen, this show re-airs tonight at 7:30, and then it gets sent out to about 7 different streaming platforms that'll air throughout the month on all these different mega platforms. So you'll get plenty of exposure on the book, and we'll put some clips out, and we'll help you get this thing. So it comes out when? October what?
26.
October 26. Okay, so the book is so even closer to the 26th. We'll plug it for you again. We'll pop up the screen and all that good stuff.
Thank you guys so much. This was really a lot of fun.
Jim, thank you, my friend. Jim. Enjoy the rest of the day. You're in LA?
Yeah, I'm right in Studio City, right by that lot where they made Mary Tyler Moore show. I'm stone's throw.
Beautiful, man. It must be a gorgeous day, I bet. Listen, my man, enjoy, and when the Love Boat's done, man, you come back on. We'll promote it.
I'd love it.
All right, Jim. Thank you, my man. Have a great day, bud.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Thanks, Jim. See you later.
Take care. Wow, Philly, what a great book that looks like. We got to get that, huh?
Oh, yeah, I know, man. That dude, golly, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I knew he would do you could ask him any sitcom trivia. He would get anything you threw at him.
Oh, I guarantee it. He's a walking encyclopedia.
It's amazing. And he's I think he's friends with Michael Levitt, who we had on the show.
Yeah.
I remember Michael with we were doing the rescue dogs and all that good stuff. And Michael's amazing career. So
good people.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. I love books like that. And it's right in our wheelhouse, my friend.
Yeah.
Listen, we got Brandon Davis coming up. He is an up and coming country singer, songwriter. He's coming up in just a second. But Philly Kid, you and I, speaking of songwriters, you and I put out a duet yesterday.
Yeah.
One day I think we've got 200,000 views, all kinds of reach. Let's get everybody going, and then we'll bring Brandon in on the other side. Because it's a Tuesday. Sometimes you feel a little dreary on a Tuesday because it's not yet Wednesday. You get over the hump. All right. So listen, everybody, just stand up. Let's have a little fun. Brandon Davis has some amazing music coming on the other side. But you want to talk about amazing music? I mean, this is award-winning stuff right here, Phil.
Oh, Philly Kid.
Hey, Scotty.
We going there? We're doing this, right?
Oh, we're going to do it.
Come on, baby. Everybody knows this one.
Where it began, I can't begin to know when, but then I know it's growing strong.
I like this.
Was in the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along?
Come on, everybody.
Hands touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would, but now I
So far,
look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two.
And when I hurt,
And when I hurt,
curtain runs off.
curtain runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you?
How you feeling?
Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you.
Everybody,
Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh no, no.
ladies and gentlemen, Hero4Life.us. Use our promo code USA1. It's 20% off, baby.
Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good. Sweet Caroline, I believe they never could. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. Sweet Caroline, oh sweet Caroline.
Nice, Philly Kid. If that doesn't get your heart pumping, I don't know
I
what
know,
will.
man. I'm ready to play ball now.
Listen, I think it could be a Grammy Award winner if we submit that. What do you think?
It might win something. It might win something.
Philly Kid, listen, our next guest, Brandon Davis. I saw this youngster on I think my wife was watching TikToks, and she saw Brandon Davis joining a duet with Tim McGraw, our guy Tim.
Sweet.
And then I started looking at all his stuff, and I was like, whoa, this guy's fantastic. We got to get him on the show. So here's a little Brandon Davis, and then we'll bring him in on the other side. And I know he's got his guitar with him. We're going to talk. We're going to sing. We're going to do it all, Phil. Here you go.
But everybody goes to where they started at. Oh, the place where I was born, the place I find in my mind what I'm thankful for. Oh, it's so hard to go back, but everybody goes where they started at. Oh, back home.
Ah, yes, indeed. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Davis in the house.
Nice.
How's it going, guys?
Nice. Good,
Brandon,
good,
to
good.
see you, buddy.
Hey, good to see y'all. Thank you for having me on.
Some good
Yes,
stuff,
sir.
man. Listen, you it's a very interesting story that you have, because this is something that you always wanted to do, but you didn't start to pursue it until a very important event in your life changed your whole outlook, where you decided, you know what, screw this, I'm going for the dream. And just everything changed from there on in, man. Tell us about it. What happened, and what made you decide to start to go after this music dream of yours?
Well, man, I've played music all my life. My father was in gospel groups and country groups. I played in a family band for, 10 years strong. And I had a wreck back in 2019, got hit head on by a distracted driver, and made me realize that, I've got three kids at home, one on the way at the time, and life could have been just like that, gone. And it's not something that I wanted to, leave behind any kind of impression that I didn't go after what I was after. And I didn't want my kids thinking that they could chase their dreams. So we started looking heavier into how we could pursue music and what could be done to take it a step further than just playing at a local opera house for the same old people every weekend.
Yeah.
Started making YouTube videos and, playing a few private shows here and there, but COVID struck, and she kept seeing people get on TikTok and said, "Hey, there's a bunch of people singing on here."
That's your wife you're talking about.
Yes, my wife,
Wow.
Destiny.
Okay.
And she said, "Get on TikTok and start posting some videos. Let's just see what happens." And I said, "Look, I've seen advertisements for TikTok. There's a bunch of people dancing and trying to be funny. I can't dance. I'm not a comedian. I got dad jokes. Like, that's all I got." And she said, "Look, I don't care. Just sing." So she cornered me in the car on the drive back from Pigeon Forge on Father's Day, said, "I've got the camera out. You're going to sing, and I'm going to post it." I said, "Okay." So I sang a couple songs and had a couple of hits on the videos. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. 500 views. That's neat. And she caught me trying to get a water here in the kitchen the next night and said, "Hey, sing Brad Paisley, sing Dierks Bentley, sing Chris Stapleton." And I did what she asked and sang, a few lines from each song. And I wake up the next morning. She's like, "Hey, this has got 1,600 views. It's like 3 times what we've been getting." I was like, "That's really cool." And 2 hours later, she said, "Scratch that. It's got 300,000 views."
Wow.
So by the end of it, that video had like 12.9 million. We grew to like 300,000 followers within a month. And it was an insane takeoff. She looked at me and said, "Look, do you really 100% you want to go for this? This is the avenue. If you do, let's take it and run with it." And I said, "Yes." So we started, showing people what I had original music wise and posting a lot more videos, if you can't tell by social media on this point. But it's been crazy because we've toured from here across the country. We've put out 9 songs to date now of all original music. And I mean, I've been in and out of Nashville, met more people than I ever thought I would in this music industry, built a great team of writers and producers. I'm just thankful because one moment went and changed what I thought was an unattainable dream and gave us the chance to actually shoot after it. And TikTok gave us an avenue to actually take it to the next level.
That's great, man.
That's
wow.
awesome. There's I've been listening to Brandon Davis music today. When Scott told me you were going to be on the show, and a couple of people I want to thank. I want to thank God for sparing your life and letting you stick around so we could enjoy you. And thank your wife. Give her a big hug for all of us because Scott and I know what it's like to have wives that will push us to do things. Do the right thing. And, yeah, seriously, thank her. And, listening to your music, I now have permanent goosebumps after I heard the song and I watched the video of More Than a Flag. I got to tell you, it's not only is that a tribute for, my brother and sister veterans, but all of us in this country that are patriots and we love this country. And thank you for doing that. It's a great song. I may have gotten something in my eye when I was listening to it. And but can you give us a little insight about that song? I mean, and tell us what, how you came up with it and what it means to you.
Well, Memorial Day was about to happen and we had been, in and out of town and we were getting ready to go meet some friends. She said, "Hey, I'm going to take a quick video. Just be ready." I said, "Okay." So she took a quick video and said, "Okay, write me a song right here on the spot for Memorial Day. Something to pay tribute to the veterans." So I thought as quick as I could and put together something. And I said, "I hope that works." And the video kind of blew up and everyone kept commenting saying, "Look, we want the rest of this song. Where can we find this song?" I'm like, "I haven't wrote the rest yet." I'll see what I can do. So I sat up until about, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning that night. Sat in the couch with my guitar and got to thinking about, because my granddaddy John was, he was in the Navy and he served out in Hawaii back in the early 50s. And it was a man I never got to meet. And all I've gotten to hear stories about him and how good of a man he was. And I got to thinking, you know, there's so many different people that have family members or themselves have served this great country. And no matter how many patriotic songs are out there, you're never going to find enough of them to really pay that homage, because all we can do is just tell them thank you.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave me the chance to tell his story and tell a story that I felt would hopefully register with a bunch of people. And luckily it has, and I'm beyond thankful that people have shared their stories like that, because if you watch the music video, so we had over 700 people sending in service photos of, you know, family members and friends and themselves and, you know, loved ones they lost, or homecomings that were just tear-jerking to even put in the video, let alone rewatch. I don't know how many times my wife cried while doing this, but let's just say I kept tissues on the ready. But
yeah,
she showed me the video come the end, and I looked at all these different people that had shared their personal life with us through that memorial, and that's beyond a blessing to be able to have that kind of touch.
I love how she like keeps you sharp, puts you to, you know, write me a song right now. You got to do it right now. You want to sing a little of that one?
We sure can.
Do a little of that one. Go ahead.
This is More Than a Flag, and it's available everywhere. So
go ahead, bud.
After school one day, boy sat talking with his dad. He said the teacher pulled out a book and taught us all about the flag, about the red, white, and blue, and how each color was defined, and why we stand hand over heart and pledge allegiance every time. His dad pulled out a box with a folded flag and said, "Trust me, son, it means way more than that. It's more than a flag, stars and stripes. Yeah, it waves for the ones who died, gave their lives so you and I could live our own. It stands for truth, it stands for grace. These colors don't run out to this day. It carries sacrifice and scars, and every stripe and star it has. You might know the definition, but the truth is, it's more than a flag.
Nice. Great song.
Thank you.
Dude, you
got those goosebumps again.
You've got that quintessential country music voice.
I appreciate that.
And listen, you know, from listening to some of the stuff I've seen, it was funny because, and again, I was introduced to you through my wife, who just happened to be watching. She goes through all those TikToks and reels and everything else, and she came across you with Tim with that split screen, and then she thought she showed me this, which we thought was great, with your son and Alexa.
Bubba, come here. Watch this. Alexa, play "Remember or Not" by Brandon Davis.
Remember or Not by Brandon Davis on Amazon Music.
Heck yeah, dude! It's on freaking Alexa! Another Friday night in Tennessee, I was throwing back that remedy to a work week. My buddies and me, we were having a good time.
You know, listen, you know when you got a dad and his son, that melts the hearts of every woman in America, right? So Remember or Not, I'm going to give you a little bit of it from your lyric video right here. Take a look.
We could throw a couple back, cut ourselves some slack, tie us to old empty bar stools, and we could wander out on the floor, dance till they lock up the doors. Who cares if we act like fools, laughing and loving and giving it all we got? Well, it's
let's take our shot and make some memories, whether we remember or not.
Nice. You mentioned I know your father was a big musician. I saw he even opened up for Garth Brooks a couple times.
Yes.
What was it? Was it his career that made you get into it? Is that what pushed you to get into it as a young kid?
Man, if you look at the pictures of me when I was probably about 2 years old, someone had gave him a wooden guitar as a wall ornament. And my mom came into my room one day, and my dad played all kinds of, country outlets right around here in Chattanooga. And I knew what he did, and I loved it because they'd come to the house and we'd jam out too. But he had this wooden guitar up on the wall, and I don't know how, but 2-year-old me managed to get this guitar off the wall and into my bedroom, and I was sitting in there just jamming out. I couldn't play no music, but I was howling like crazy, sitting there playing that wooden guitar because that's all I wanted to do was sing music like my daddy.
God, that's so funny.
No, I mean, it's definitely the inspiration. It runs to him. My papa and mama were kind of like a gospel version of Johnny and June, traveling around to different churches, playing gospel music with nothing but a guitar and tambourine. So it runs deep, to say the least.
Well, I'll tell you what, our viewers are really requesting to hear your beautiful voice again.
Yeah, man. You want to sing another one?
We can sing another one, absolutely.
You pick it, man. Whatever you want to do.
Well, how about we just gave him a taste of Remember Not, so let's do a little bit of Run Out of Beer. It's another song on the new EP we've got out.
Beautiful.
She said, sit down, I think we need to talk, and that's never a good sign. She said, I've been thinking about where this is leading and where our future lies. What if you get bored? What if we grow old and you don't look at me the same? I said, babe, listen up, cause it's you and me, love ain't the kind that ever fades. I can win a line when the fish ain't biting, work that overtime when I feel like dying. If my old truck could break down, and girl, I wouldn't even shed a tear. I can watch a Braves lose out in Game 7, count up a few prayers short of heaven. But if it came down to one more round or having you here, I'd rather run out of beer. Yeah, I'd rather run out of beer.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. There was one cover I saw you doing that I pulled out, a little Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh.
Here it is right here.
Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Oh, mama, life had just begun, and now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really mattered.
Mama just killed a man. That's so great. It's funny. We had we had a gentleman on from Israel last week.
Okay.
Who was an insane electric guitarist. Kafir Ochayan, I think his name was. And he did Bohemian Rhapsody. But what he does with the guitar, Brandon, is he does the lyrics. The singer, the singing part comes out, he does it with the guitar, and it's just absolutely insane. Yeah, really, really wild. You got to check him out. It's KFIR. If you look him up on, it's KFIRO on like Instagram and social media. He's got all these different songs, man. He's unbelievable. He was jamming away last week, but That was a good version, man. That was a good version. Have you been on any of the like the singing reality shows at all? Have you done any of those?
No, I have not. Not currently.
No. All right. I mean, listen, I don't even know if you need to go that route. I mean, you know, you're doing your thing. You got a great voice. You got a great sound. You already have, the album that you have out now, the recent one, is that, let me see, the Remember or Not, or is that just the single?
That's the single and same cover art for the EP. Just
for the EP, okay.
Remember or Not. Slap an EP on there and you're good to go.
Yeah, no, okay, great. That's good, man. Listen, you keep doing what you're doing, keep building up the social media, and eventually, you know, you have now. Do you have a manager, anybody, or your wife, basically your manager at this point?
She's the business side of it. We like to joke and say she does everything that needs to be done to make sure it's all functioning. And I get up and sing. So.
That's all you got to do, man. You got the easy part. You got the easy part, right?
Yeah, Brandon. I tell you what, man, keep doing what you're doing because I started looking at the Brandon Davis music, of which I'm now the proud owner on my playlist of a lot of it. And I got to tell you, your story and your videos, and I mean, I'm a fan, man. You're very, very inspirational, and people love it. Just keep doing what you're doing.
And I appreciate that, man. Really means the world.
And by the way, I know you have stepkids with your wife, and so you've added to your group. So you have 5 kids now?
Yes, currently 5 kids in the house.
What is? Let me pop that back up right there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's all of them right there. What? Which, by the way, going to Disney World with 5 kids got to be pretty expensive. I know that because I only have 2. But it's how's it been? You're playing a little zone defense with your wife, and how does that working out for you?
Man, I mean, honestly, everything that we've done, even with music, it's kind of revolved around them because if you look at Easton, who's the one with this hat on backwards that I've got up in my arms.
Yeah.
If he doesn't end up singing, I'll be shocked and surprised because this boy is the most animated singer when it comes to anything. He grabbed a hairbrush the other day and was going to town in the bathroom singing his heart out because we had the EP on the Alexa. But they're a big inspiration behind it because they're the reason I'm chasing after it. They're the reason that any of this is possible because I've got someone to do it for.
Yeah, no, it's great, man.
My wife inspires me every day by pushing me. But I look at them and I'm like, look, one day they're going to grow up and they're going to aspire to do something of their own. And I want them to see that we did this. We didn't let it sit. We didn't let it collect dust. We saw what we wanted. We're chasing after it. And one way or another, we're going to make it happen. And, at home, they're constantly running around while we got rights going on and they're joining in. Malia's breaking out her little pink guitar and coming in here and playing with me. But we've grown stronger every day together. And if it weren't for them, who knows where this music would even be.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Nice.
Now we did the Bohemian Rhapsody. Before you go, is there like another cover that you always like to do if you're playing in front of people? Is there like a favorite cover song you like to bust out?
Well, I can tell you my wife's. And it's one that I always heard for years, played by like George Jones and David Allan Coe. But Chris Stapleton came back in 2015 and turned this one into a whole new ball game.
Nice.
She loves it when I sing this song. So we'll do.
Got to do it, man. You got to do it. Right. Go ahead.
Used to spend my nights out in a ballroom. Liquor was the only love I know, but you rescued me from reaching for the bottle and brought me back from being too far gone. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I insist on your love all time.
All right. So listen, Brandon, now I want you to give me your rating on Phil's version of Tennessee whiskey, because he gets that request all the time on this show.
Heck yeah.
And the Philly Kid, go ahead.
I'll sing with. I've looked for love in all the same old places. Found the bottom of a bottle's always dry. But when you poured out your heart, you know I didn't waste it, baby. 'Cause there's nothing like your love to get me high. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Love that song, man.
Loving it. You got the groove going on over there, man.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, Phil's got more female fans around the world than I got hair on my head. And that's not much at this point, but
but I'm happily married 40 years. So
he's doing all right. Brandon, where can everybody find your music, bud, and your socials? Where can they find you on TikTok and all that good stuff?
So if you go to my socials, which is on TikTok, it's at Brandon Davis _music. Same for Instagram. Facebook is just Brandon Davis Music. YouTube is Brandon Davis. And Twitter is Brandon BD, I think, maybe.
I think it might be Brandon
Twitter
BD.
game, so I'm just now getting in there. But there is a link on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook that allows you to go and stream all of the music that we have currently out. It's got ticket links for all the shows we're going to be playing, where we're going to be at. And if you want to go stream my music, you can go pretty much any streaming platform. Apple Music, iTunes, which I think is the same thing, Spotify, Deezer, Pandora, Amazon Music, Google Play. It's everywhere.
Beautiful, beautiful. Brandon, thank you, my man. You're amazing, and
awesome.
Appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate y'all having me. It's been a blast.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And next album you got coming out, man, you come back on, we'll promote for you.
Please.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, take care, my friend. Tell your wife we said good job.
Yes.
Trust me, I will. I tell her that every single day.
Take care, bud.
See you later, Brandon.
You too.
Bye-bye. Philly, he was great.
Oh my gosh, man!
Really good, man.
That
Really good.
dude,
What a voice. He's gonna listen. I'm not even worried about him. He's gonna be a big. He's gonna be a big star.
Yeah, you hear the whole package. He thrown around. He is the entire package, man.
Absolutely, man.
He's
absolutely.
awesome.
What a show, huh? Jim Colucci with the book. Great, and Brandon Davis. Wow, good stuff today, man.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. Listen, you got to do one more before we book out today, no? Unless you want to do the entire Tennessee whiskey. I know our audience wouldn't care, but by the way, Philly Kid, before we do that, I got to congratulate my niece, Sydney, who got married this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Unbelievable wedding. The Stanford family was there. Phil, I look like I should be the next 007, no?
You look good, man.
With my tux on and my beautiful ladies. I hang out with some good-looking chicks, don't I?
That's a beautiful family, man. Yeah.
I mean, come on. Look at this bunch of broads I'm hanging out with. It was.
And you
it was
can't
great.
deny those girls either, man.
Nah,
they look just like you. They look just like you, and they're still very beautiful. I don't know.
Isn't that amazing? It's so funny. They look just like me. It's ridiculous. But yeah, great wedding. It was unbelievable, and I sang, Phil. I sang at the rehearsal dinner.
Nice.
Remember I told you I was going to sing?
Yeah.
Do you remember the times of your life? I sang it live on the mic. 70 people, and they're like, dude, you're not a bad singer.
So,
you got to tell the 3 people who ripped me when I sing with Phil.
Yeah, was it with a band or
no, it was just a cappella for like 40 seconds. I pulled out all these pictures of me and my niece and I when she was young, and I just started passing around these big poster-sized pictures and singing the song. And then I went into the speech, but it was it was a perfect wedding, start to finish, and we were there, Phil. We were rocking and rolling.
Woohoo!
All right, let's
do a little. I'll finish it up with a little Elvis Presley and wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Yeah.
Nice, Philly Kid. And I think we can only leave off with one song as we say goodbye until tomorrow. You'll be with me again tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
We'll be here tomorrow again. Same time, 1 o'clock. This show will re-air live tonight at 7:30. Don't forget, everybody, get your mugs, your Suki and Scott Show coffee mugs. I think Phil has us beat by about 30 right now. And there you go, Philly. You need to get a little more on the goatee. Yeah. Is that the shirt? Is that the shirt you wear?
No, it's a different one.
HeroForLife.us. The promo code's USA1, 20% off, of course, benefiting our disabled veterans. And you could be like Anna Hoover, who's about to drink 72 cups of coffee in the next 2 days. She's got plenty of mugs. They make great gifts for the holidays that are coming up. Listen, Christmas is right around the corner, Phil. Is there a better gift than the Suki and Scott Show mug? I can't think of one. Not only you're giving a gift, but you're also helping disabled vets. So
yes,
how much better can you get?
Right.
We'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock, everybody. Another amazing show. For those of you who may have missed it, and plenty of you have, but plenty of you haven't, I will leave you one more time with a little Neil Diamond.
Oh, Philly Kid.
Hey, Scotty.
We going there? We're doing this, right?
Oh, we're going to do it.
Come on, baby. Everybody knows this one.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong.
I like this.
Was in the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you come along?
Come on, everybody.
Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would, but now I
so far
look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two.
And when I hurt,
hurtin' runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you?
How you feeling?
Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Everybody, sweet Caroline, bum, bum, bum. Good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh no, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hero4Life.us. Use our promo code USA1. It's 20% off, baby.
Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good.